Former British Prime Minister Baroness Margaret Thatcher has died at the age of 87 following a stroke. Her spokesman, Lord Bell, made the following statement. It is with great sadness that Mark and Carol Thatcher announced that their mother, Baroness Thatcher, died peacefully following a stroke this morning. Margaret Thatcher became Britain's first female Prime Minister and ruled the country for 11 years before resigning in November 1990. In the view of her many admirers, she led a strike-prone country back to the forefront of the industrial world, while her detractors saw her as an uncaring conviction politician. Her first election victory in 1979 ushered in a new era for Britain, an era of change and division.
Reaction now coming in from Downing Street with David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, giving the following quote. He's saying, "It was with great sadness that I learned of the death of Lady Thatcher. We have lost a great leader, a great Prime Minister and a great Britain." And we've also had reaction in the last few minutes from Buckingham Palace, which is the residence of Queen Elizabeth II. Buckingham Palace saying the Queen was sad to hear the news of the death of Baroness Thatcher. Her Majesty will be sending a private message of sympathy to the family. So initial reaction there from both Downing Street, the British government, and indeed the British royalty too, to the passing of Margaret Thatcher at the age of 87.
Margaret Thatcher swept into office in 1979 with the promise of transforming the British economy, a promise she most certainly fulfilled.
Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope.
In the 1970s, the country's economy suffered from energy shortages, massive strikes, rising inflation, three-day work weeks. Her then right-hand man, Geoffrey Howe, whose resignation in 1990 played a big part in her downfall, still says she was the right person for the job.
By the time we were elected in '79, recognised that Britain was in the last chance saloon. Everyone had tried other methods. We decided there was no alternative to tough medicine that was going to have to be sustained for some time. And it was accepted because there was no alternative.
That alternative became known as Thatcherism. She cut the effective 98% tax rate for top earners to 40%. She made it harder for trade unions to call strikes. She unleashed the so-called Big Bang, which deregulated London's financial markets, creating a financial powerhouse to rival New York. She also privatized many companies with names that start with British, from airways to petroleum to telecom. Her belief, private enterprise and competition would create wealth.
A red-eyed Margaret Thatcher left Downing Street for the last time on the 28th of November 1990, having been told by her cabinet that she had to go. They concluded that the country had simply had enough of the longest-serving Prime Minister of the 20th century. For years, though people queued up to read and hear her views, she was shunned by her own party leadership, and of course by Labour, who'd loathed her so much. Until, that is, Gordon Brown tried to get some of the old Thatcher magic to rub off on his premiership, the surest sign that even those who'd been her bitter enemies now saw at least some of the benefits of the Thatcher revolution. In failing health, and now alone after the death of her loyal husband Dennis, Margaret Thatcher unveiled her own statue in the House of Commons. She would never speak in public again, but she must have known that for many she still pointed the way which Britain ought to follow.
She remained active in British politics and in '92 became a peer in the House of Lords, gaining the title of Baroness. Despite developing dementia, her opinions did not mellow with age. In 2009 she made it known that she was appalled at Gordon Brown's handling of the British economy. Later that year, the release of secret files showed her tough reputation was well earned. Indifferent to who she upset, her handwritten notes on ministers' documents were curt.
No, no, no.
Thatcher was criticised for ruling with an iron fist, yet admired by many. Even subsequent Labour Prime Ministers have been inspired by her style. There's no doubt Margaret Thatcher will be remembered as a political giant among men.